What's up, everyone? Welcome to Niners Coast to Coast. We're your host, Cohn and Jason Aponte, and we're going to be talking a lot about how the Niners can get to the Super Bowl today. I'm usually the negative guy, being like, they're not going to make it. They're not planning right. They should do it my way. And I'm right still. But, they're still in the thick of things, and they just might pull this off. So let's think positive today and sort of in a constructive manner. But first, we got to talk about who's hurt because it's December. Anyway, first, Jason, how are you? I like the hat.
I'm good. I appreciate that. And I've been positive all week. I catch a bad rap all the time about being negative because I do one show a week with you and everything. And I chose this entire week sort of. I chose this entire week to focus on all the positive stuff. So I love this turn towards positivity. It is all sunshines and rainbows over here after a win. And let's just keep it that way. Let's go.
Yeah, we're looking at playoff run number 5 for the 49ers since I was in high school. So starting off with who may not be making this game. We got 4 players who didn't practice today, although they could come back for the game. We got Elijah Mitchell still in the concussion protocol. These guys are on a side field though, so they're working back slowly. Azeez AlShair elbow, DJ Jones knee, and Dante Johnson still coming back. His mom died. So I figure, well, how do you look at which ones of these people do you think are most likely to play, and which one should the Niners be most cautious with?
Azeez and DJ are probably going to be the ones who play for sure. The thing about Dante Johnson is, I think that whatever's going on, football is a far second to what's going on right. In his life right now. Right. And if he missed another game, fine. Take as long as you want. If you don't want to play at all the rest of the season, fine. I can't imagine that, right? I've never lost a parent, anything like that. Mm-hmm. So, but at the same time, he is somebody who doesn't need to practice and could just show up Saturday, Sunday, and they're like they would feel fine putting him in there. So with that, I'm not going to speculate on how he's feeling because he just lost his mom. So I mean, realistically, take your time, bro. Mm-hmm. Football does not matter. It doesn't matter at this point. Mm-mm. Elijah Mitchell's the one that they need to be cautious with because there is a world where they can win this game without Elijah Mitchell, right? They just won a game without him. They just won a game without him, and they're gonna need him. They're gonna need him down the stretch. And I know we have another topic as to who played last week, and we'll get into that. But Elijah Mitchell's the one they need to be cautious with. And I believe that DJ and Azeez both play in this game. And I think that they are needed more than the other two, in my opinion.
I'm with you. If the Niners could get Azeez AlShair, that would be huge. Because I really feel like he emerged this last month. And before that, their run defense was kind of suspect. And all of a sudden, it's a strength. Like they can shut down the run while playing both safeties back. I saw it happen in Cincinnati, so that's a big advantage. And if he's not there, I feel like as soon as he left the game, their defense was starting to get picked on a little bit to an extent. So yeah, that'd be great if they could get him. Also, Ambry Thomas is like on the field in a limited fashion, so they're pretty desperate at cornerback. They're going to need one of these guys to come back and play. I mean, or they could go with Diamador and have no backup.
Well, I think. Yeah, that would be scary, right? But I mean, at this point, if it's Norman and Lenore, from what I saw last week and the way that DeMeco Ryans pivoted to more cover 2 bracket coverage and helping Ambry Thomas, obviously at the end of the game, it started to rear its head because eventually the Bengals said, okay, let's just try him. And for all intents and purposes, when it comes to Ambry Thomas, I know I was a little hard on him, but when I watched all 22, those throws, especially the one behind him to Higgins, where you've got the safety in a cover 2 shell, right? It's a hole shot, and there's some holes in zone defenses. So it's not necessarily that Ambry was just getting cooked the entire time, right? Mm-hmm. Like it was a corner post to Higgins, and Burrow hit it, right? That's a hole shot right there,
and it was zone.
Right, exactly. Right, that's where the soft spot of the zone is. They were able to beat it, and it was a great throw, right? Yeah. And then as far as the hands to the face that eliminated I believe it was the interception. That wasn't Ambry trying to get hands on man press. He was trying to redirect. That's just poor technique. Like that was just something where he's just trying to get hands and wave him another way and get back to his zone. It wasn't like he was trying to press and then go with him. So in terms of that, that's a little bit of just technique. So I'll tell you this. I was afraid. Right. Yeah, that's it. I was more afraid. I was more afraid than anybody in terms of Ambry Thomas. I kind of walked away, even though at the end of the game, they started picking on him a little bit more, that he was actually okay. And DeMeco Ryans did a great job of not putting him in harm's way. So I don't feel as bad, especially considering this Falcons team doesn't have Julio Jones anymore.
Yep.
So that helps.
Or anyone like Jamar Chase or T.
Right.
Higgins.
100%.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So look, the Niners are limping into the game. Every team limps into their games. I haven't really studied.
Oh, breaking news.
Tell me.
Guess who's starting for the Cleveland Browns?
Nick Mullins. Yes! No way!
Case Keenum unfortunately just got diagnosed with COVID.
Sorry, Case.
Yeah, that whole team has it. Baker has it too.
Sorry, that's not funny.
Nick Mullins time, though.
Nick Mullins time, baby.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I didn't mean to laugh at Baker. I hope he's okay. I was just laughing because I'm excited for Nick Mullins.
No, those guys are vaccinated. They have little to no symptoms. They just tested positive, so it's not like they're suffering or anything like that. But Nick Mullins is going to start on Sunday so get ready for that.
I'm back on the train, baby. He got hurt, and then everyone dunked on him in preseason. Let's see how he plays. And if he doesn't play well, it doesn't count. So that's the rule. All right. Okay. So
sorry about that.
Those are the people we don't know about those people. We do know about D Ford. He's not coming back, which is strange. When the Niners opened up his practice window like mid-season, I was thinking, oh, he's going to be here. Now I was thinking, I don't know, probably should have just waited on that. But then it's like, it doesn't seem like it's going to matter. I don't know if he's going to be ready to play football for a very long time. Last time they went to the Super Bowl, he played in all those playoff games. He wasn't making a huge impact, but he was there playing a lot of snaps. Now they're going to have to replace him. What do you think the impact of not having him? First of all, if they had him playing like him at his best, you'd think this is definitely a team that can go all the way to the Super Bowl. I mean, does he ruin it not being there?
Not really. I think that realistically what you've seen with the way that DeMeco has been very creative and his play calling has been great. Like calling that nickel blitz with K1 at the right time to get to the quarterback. Yeah. No, and this is a guy again in his first year that is playing is doing very well. And for everything that everybody said earlier in the season, and I remember, you got to get rid of DeMeco. I think he's doing a great job, especially when he's down to what he's down to at corner. And his pass rush is basically Nick Bosa and whoever the hell can try to help at least a little bit. And week to week, that changes. 1 week is DJ Jones. 1 week, Eric Armstead has pressures. 1 week, Arden Key has pressures. So I think they'll be fine. Okay. I mean, they've gotten this far and played good enough. They're still a top 10 DVOA defense. Yep. Still. Yep. And I think that they've gotten this far.
It's a good defense.
I think they've gotten this far with the presence in the linebacker room, back end safeties that really don't give anything up. And when Nick Bosa is playing it the way that he is, even when he's double teamed, they can make just enough plays. As long as they're not giving up the explosives, they should be fine. Obviously, D Ford would help, but they've done too much without him for me to be worried about him missing at this point.
The reason I ask about this, well, first of all, I want to say is the thing with K'Waun Williams. I was out at dinner with Nick Wagner the night before the game, and I was saying, DeMeco, I'm not really sure about him. Like, his pressure packages aren't that exotic. Like, all he does is just blitz Hafunga now and then. I like the way Saleh used to get K'Waun Williams totally unblocked. Boom, next day, got it done, like with the game on the line. So nice. I really like that.
That's why you're quality control.
Yeah. And like, the other thing I wanted to say is, like, of course they do have a top 10 defense. It's a good defense, but the way I look at this team is they've been trying to recreate they had a formula that they thought came very close to take them all the way. And the formula really was defense first. That was a defense team. And that defense was one or two. I mean, it was them and the Patriots that year. I thought the Niners had the best defense that year, personally, even with old Richard Sherman in the secondary. So I'm like, can they get back to that as sort of the theme of this show a little bit? And we're going to talk about it in different ways, but D Ford coming back would have really helped that cause. And I don't see that. So right now I do see a really good defense, but it'll be interesting to see if they can kind of crank it up the way that the New York Giants defense did 10 years ago with Osi and Pierre Paul and Justin Tuck.
Right. And it's funny because in camp, Ford looked like he had that burst back, and he was at least going to be on the field in like obvious passing situations. Yeah. And you figure, okay, if you're going to get that, then things are going to be different. But I still, in the beginning of the season, in the offseason, felt that this defense was going to take a step back based on the personnel, obviously, and a first-year DC. But at the same time, I expected them to be a top 10 defense. Yeah. Now, obviously, that's what they're doing right now. Yeah. But when you're talking about top 2, that's when you start to say, okay, that can mask up some of the things that, let's say, your offense isn't clicking a little bit more, right? So, but that's not typical. So I think that we all should have expected a top 10 defense, and that's what they have right now. And when you consider what they're down at cornerback, how much better this team would be if Jason Verrett was available, if Emmanuel Mosley was still there, it would be even higher. But for them to be top 10, I feel like that should have been the expectation, and they're kind of hitting that right now. And who knows, right? DeMeco Ryans right now is building confidence right now in game planning and in game adjustments. Like, for him to go into this game knowing, okay, the way to stop Ja'Marr Chase and you obviously really can't stop T. Higgins, because in my opinion, his route tree is much more developed than Ja'Marr Chase at this point. Ja'Marr Chase is going to be a fantastic receiver in this league. He's just a straight line guy. He has a few other routes in his bag, but T. Higgins is the real deal in terms of everything. But for him to look at what the Bengals were doing and say, hey, we're going to throw some cover 2 looks. We're going to make sure that we have brackets over there and still be able to stop the run and have them flummox for a large portion of that game. I feel great about where he's going, man, and I think that's.
But why did that work? Azeez.
I know.
Azeez.
I mean, hey, I know Azeez is a baller. I know Azeez
anytime you can stop the run with 7, your D coordinator looks like a genius.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that, of what he's doing right now, his growth in play calling, his growth in game planning, is going to mask whatever deficiencies are on the back end, and I think that have 49er fans excited.
Fangio always had the same luxury when he had Patrick Willis and Bowman. I mean, they never had to bring safeties down. To involve them in the run game. You could play them at 9, 10, 11 yards off. And I mean, it worked. So good for the Niners, good for DeMeco, good for Azeez. All right, let's talk about getting this defense up a little bit higher, getting them back to the driving force of the and being the reason why they would go to a Super Bowl. Because we're trying to get them to a Super Bowl. Positivity and constructive not criticism, but suggestions. No D Ford coming back. Someone can replace him. Well, how about Eric Armstead? Now they're giving him a lot of money, and I know the expectation isn't to be a pass rusher. He's a run stuffer first, and he's a good one. He can play multiple positions. I know the Niners like that, and then Buckner really couldn't, although he's really good at that one position. But Armstead, he plays multiple spots. They moved him inside. He's good at that. He hasn't been able to replicate the pass rushing production he had that one season when the Niners went to the Super Bowl. I mean, can he do it? Can he get hot for a few games and be that guy? Or, I mean, especially playing next to Bosa? Or is that just not a realistic expectation for Armstead at this point?
I just think it's that more than anything. Yeah. And I know people are going to point to his contract and everything. Look, I'm not here to
that's the Niners.
And not even that. I'm not even here to talk about that, because contract has been dictating his expectations ever since the whole Buckner Armstead thing has been happening.
That's true.
I think that a lot of his success obviously comes from when he's inside. At the same time, you have Arden Key right now, who is, I believe, the 4th highest graded inside lineman right now in terms of pressures. And remember, he has more sacks as a 49er than he's had as a Raider.
He's got 4 sacks in his last 6 games.
Right. So it's him and DJ Jones in the middle, right, on the inside. And now you've got Armstead on the outside. And it's like, can you really move guys away who are actually having an impact inside, even though Armstead is better to be suited inside, right? So I think that it's a little weird. I know that everybody has their criticisms of Armstead. I'm not going to tell you how to feel about that, obviously.
No, this is all positive today. I'm just asking, can he be a guy who steps up and fills this one specific role? Or, I mean, it doesn't have to be him. It would be nice considering what the Niners are paying him. But again, that's not his fault. I'm just wondering, do you think it'll be him, or do you think this is is Arden Key a more likely candidate?
I don't think it'll be him. Arden Key inside, DJ Jones inside. Amenahue has been playing well in the snaps that he's been getting out there. He's very athletic. I mean, obviously, Armstead's going to get the bulk of the snaps. So you're going to look at him because obviously that's how, he gets paid, and he's versatile, just in case somebody's not.
He is, right? He'll get pressures, he'll stop the run, but he's not necessarily going to finish plays, right?
Right. And when you put him on the edge, I think that realistically, instead of pass rushing, you just want him to make sure he sets that edge, keeps the contain, and pushes guys back into the middle where those guys are eating up blocks and things like that. So it's tough, man. I just it's hard to duplicate what D Ford did, because no matter what, even if he wasn't getting sacks or pressures, he still demanded that attention. I feel like other teams aren't going to say, oh man, Eric Armstead's on the outside, here he comes, and we have to make sure we watch him. I think that doesn't shift double teams away from Bosa in any way. And again, I'm not trying to knock the guy. I'm just trying to tell you like how I see it and how he's been for a large portion of his career.
Couldn't they put him next to Bosa though and run game? I mean, isn't there a way that you could
stunts maybe
excellence could free up arms? I mean, I don't know, or would you rather run those games with Arden Key?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Arden Key has been showing that he's a little bit more productive at this point when it comes to those things. So it's up to DeMeco Ryans to figure out the way to do it, and I believe that he will. So I mean,
even if will stick in his role, just keep doing what you're doing, And don't worry about what they're paying you.
If you stay steady, that's fine. But if you see that Arden Key is having more of an impact inside, contract be damned. You just got to put the guy who's going to be more successful right now. So I think that's really what it is.
Talk to me about Arden Key. He was doing nothing the first few years of his career, including here. And then all of a sudden, Chris Kosar figures out, oh, boom, put him inside. And last 6 games, 4 sacks. It's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that's serious production. And it's been like consistent. 1 sack, 1 sack, 1 sack, no sacks, half a sack, half a sack. That's my analysis of Arden Key. Can you give a better analysis of Arden Key, please? What is he doing?
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, right? So one thing that I could say about this regime and this organization, at least during this time that, Chris Kosar has been there, is that they identify traits in guys and they're able to exploit and get the most out of it, right? For instance, last year, Kerry Hyder largely just bounces around, and obviously he gets that role because there's a lot of injuries, has a breakout year. He's not doing anything in Seattle right now. You look at Jordan Willis. Jordan Willis had a bit of an –
I forgot about Kerry Hyder. So.
Yeah. Jordan Willis had a big old impact, a little bit, last year. And now, they bet on traits. And as much as we get on them for, well, you swung and missed on this guy, Chris Kosar and this regime, they bet on traits and they find good ways to get the most out of guys, right? Sure. Arden Key was athletically profiled. Everybody loved him and everything. Obviously, who knows what the hell's going on with the Raiders? I mean, you can just chalk it up to just being in that organization as the reason that he wasn't productive. Sure. But you have to give this coaching staff
he's got a position too, right?
Right. You have to give them credit for being able to get the most out of guys, and they have been. And for a guy who was largely ineffective with the Raiders to have already surpassed his sack total, I think that just speaks volumes to Chris Kosar and this organization for being able to bet on those traits.
I think Arden Key is such an important player for this stretch run. Because as we already said, Armstead, it's hard to expect him to sort of take his game up another notch. I mean, he's played 91 games in the league. I mean, he's pretty established at what he's going to give you. He fills a role, and that's what he's paid to do. Arden Key is young. He's kind of a wild card. He's a little bit like Azeez AlShair. He's figuring out what he's effective at in the NFL. And if he can all of a sudden turn into a guy who gives you like half a sack a game, or could get hot in the playoffs and give you 3 sacks in 3 games like OCU and Yora did for the Giants back then. And damn,
you keep talking about the Giants.
Everyone keeps asking me on these streams. Do you get a little 2011 Giants vibe? Because wild card team, they were 7-6, kind of a mid quarterback.
Can I give my Giants analysis real quick? Because I live on this side.
Yes.
Giants fans were so annoying during that time, right? Because here's why. Right? The 49ers are a boomer bust. Like, if they make the playoffs, they're going to make the NFC Championship game at least, right? Like, they don't just go out in the first round, right? Okay,
which I was thinking about today. The Niners are probably going to win their first 2 playoff games on the road and get to the NFC Championship game and then just be gassed like 20.
Or I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's that.
I don't know.
I'll tell you this. Yeah. The past doesn't dictate the future, or there's no real correlation. But I'll tell you this. This is what Giants fans would always tell me when their team was middling and piddling around. Don't let us get in. You know what we do when we get in. When we get in, we win the Super Bowl. So there's my analysis on that. But it's a funny way that fans think about things. It's like the Giants fans would they would be 6-6. You better not let us get in because we're gonna get hot. You know what Eli does.
Are Niner fans not like that right now?
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Lucky Louise says Frank Gore is fighting on Saturday. Any thoughts?
Why?
Frank to win that. Yeah. Why?
I know Frank's gonna win it. I wouldn't listen. There's not many people that strike fear in my heart, but I don't want to run into Frank Gore in an alley, or I don't want to have him be in his. I don't want to be in his sights for a fight, and I think he's gonna watch Deron Williams, unfortunately. So good luck, buddy. I don't care about
$63 million Frank Gore made in the NFL. Like, why, man? You really?
Why, dude?
Running back.
Why, dude?
Hold on. Just a second. Battery almost ran out, but I plugged it in. All right, we're good. Woo! Man, the things
I would have had to run this show, and the comments would have just been lighting me up. Whatever it's saying at this point.
All right, so I mean, if Arden Key can be the next dude to step up, a la Azeez AlShair, I think this team could get back to having a dominant defense. It just seems to me that they're so close. I mean, obviously, Mosley coming back is going to help a lot, but Mosley's good. Norman's been solid. I mean, the core of the defense, we're going to talk about that. The middle is solid. They could just get one more, really good pass rusher. They pretty much have
The
a
formula.
great defense. So
Yeah,
Key,
and if they get Elijah Mitchell back and they're able to control games and run the ball, then things become very interesting. And the 49ers become that dreaded team that nobody wants to play.
And you get that 2019 vibe again. To me, you can't have the 2019 vibe until you account for this DeForest Buckner absence. And,
that's hard, though.
And against the Bengals, though, they swarmed Burrow. And they won that game because they were saved on defense by their pass rush. It could have been worse with that secondary.
Yeah, and also thank God that Joe Burrow holds the ball as long as he does at times, man. I know that people talk about other quarterbacks, but he's great and he made some great throws.
But I was
and he's gonna be great.
Slow too. He's slow.
But he holds the ball a little bit, right? Yeah. We can pick apart Garoppolo's misses, but he had a bunch of guys running wide open where he just was like, nah, and then he just wound up turning into a sack, and it was just oh man. I was like, thank God.
Pretty much. Okay, let's talk about the core of the defense. I've always heard, people say you want to build the premium positions are on the edge, the corners and your edge rushers. But if you're strong up the middle, you're solid. And they talk about that in baseball too. But in football, on defense, at least, it's your defensive tackles, your linebackers, your safeties. And it just occurred to me, when the Niners are healthy, which they have been recently, that core of their defense is really good. I mean, the safeties, add Hufanga into it. That's 3 guys that they can rotate who are all solid, all good tacklers, all good players. The linebackers are phenomenal. And the 2 defensive tackles, DJ Jones and Eric Armstead, are good against the run. So that's a big – take even Bosa out of it. Those 6 right there are a big reason the Niners are above average on defense.
Yeah, and that's the thing is people don't like solid for some reason.
Yeah.
The reason that you're able to have Ward and Tart so far away from the line of scrimmage is because they play on instincts, they understand concepts, and they wipe things out. Right now, Jaquiski Tart is the highest graded tackler on the team per PFF. Shout out to Jordan Elliott for that stat. That's not my stat. But that's the thing is solid, right? Right now is exactly what this team needs. Obviously, everybody wants playmakers or whatever that means, but nobody can really quantify what that means to me at all, ever, in terms of what do you mean by playmaker? Yeah. Does that mean a guy who gets tested all the time and has ball skills, or the guy who wipes things out and never gets anything thrown at him? But that's the reason that you're able to mask other things on top of what we talked about with DeMeco Ryans, right? You can't run cover 2 shell with 2 safeties who don't understand where they need to be, don't understand the coverages, don't understand the concepts, and aren't able to help Ambry Thomas, right? Aren't able to help Josh Norman.
And let's give Hufanga credit, too, because they rotated all 3 in, and I couldn't tell. It seemed like he was doing a good job, too, at least against Cincinnati.
Yeah, and that touchdown that he gave up was on a scramble drill, and you can't expect a youngster to cover for that long. So, it is what it is. At least right now,
I think he's solid, too.
Yeah, Hufanga's strengths right now are playing closer to the line of scrimmage, but he can do it as long as he's not asked to cover, right? In Decipher right now. But obviously, they're grooming him for next year, and he's going through the reps. This is somebody who they definitely want to be on the field because as much as I love Tart and as much as he doesn't get the props that he deserves, they still are rotating him out for an entire series where Hufanga's in there, and he's playing in Tart's spot. And also, one more thing I have to say about Hufanga, too. Very versatile. Right, and that's why people get hung up on the whole free safety, strong safety. Honestly, they flip and they move in the box, they move up, they move single high. It's not something that is just rigid and
super defined. It's not. You have to do both. Yeah,
right. Or he has to play a strong safety, or he has to play a free safety. No, you can move Ward down to cover the slot, and then you can move Hufanga to single high, and the same thing with Tart, and you can do you can move all of them around. I think that's what is the crux of this defense right now. And in terms of DeMeco's growth. In terms of understanding that you have guys that are going to be solid on the back end that aren't going to give anything up, I think that makes things easier when you have rookies that are going to be playing out there. When you add in the pass rush, that's just a bonus at this point. So that's why this defense is where it's at right now.
Well, look at the linebacker tandem. Is that not the best linebacker tandem in the league right now? Azeez and Warner? I don't know. It's up there.
It's up there. It's up there. Everybody loves, Levante David and Devin White,
but it's up there.
It is. It is. Yeah. And then when you consider Levante David is a legend, right? And Devontae White was a big not Devontae White. Why do I keep saying his name? White or whatever. I think that's his name.
Devin White.
Devin White. I'm sorry. Devontae White. That was going on. Devin White was a high pick. When you consider that Azeez is an undrafted free agent And
the third, yep.
Yeah,
now,
and right
Warner's
now
not playing his best yet, but he could turn it on.
And what happens if this is just a year where you say, okay, he was just a little down, and next year he gets right back to where everybody thought he would be? So I think that, again, this whole Azeez being better than Fred this year, because he has been, people are looking at it through the wrong lens. In my opinion, I think it's a great thing. Here's why.
Of course. Yeah. I don't mean to diminish Fred Warner. I mean, Fred Warner's all pro. He has nothing to really answer for. It's just amazing that Azeez AlShair could actually surpass his impact. And he has. It's just amazing.
Yeah. And that just means that
we've seen AlShair in the past. He didn't even come close to this.
That just means that if he's continuing to get better, you bring him back and Fred Warner even goes up a little bit or goes closer to that level that we saw the year before and what we expected this season, then that's just another feather in your cap. So people are looking at it wrong, like as, oh, well, Azeez shouldn't be outplaying Fred. Okay, that's fine. But at this point, if you're getting both of those guys, one is going to be super solid and the other guy is now ascending, that sounds like a really good problem to have, in my opinion.
Azeez out here playing like Patrick Willis. I mean, he had 11 tackles in the first half, and I think
first tackle of the game was a tackle for loss. Tackle for a loss.
And a fumble. Was it not? The ball came out. So, I mean, that set the tone for the whole game right there, right? This guy has been crazy.
And one more thing. A lot of people want to point out missed tackles, right? Because he has about 26, and I looked it up. And they're like, oh, well, he misses tackles. Okay, but you know why he misses tackles? Because he's around the ball everywhere. He's around everything. And would you know, like, you can understand that can go away, and nobody's going to make every single tackle, right? So don't cite the Dre Greenlaw stat in a way to knock him down, because Dre Greenlaw's not around the ball like Azeez AlShair is. That's the difference. And you can fix that missed tackle thing. He's just everywhere. Like, that's the point.
The way I look at it, too, is the last month there have been 2 impact players on the defense, and there's no way to define that term, and I'm sorry for the people who I'm not going to put it, but to me, it's Bosa and Azeez. Those 2 dudes, it's like every play, almost, you can feel their impact, and they're great. But I want to talk about the defensive tackles real quick. Armstead and I criticize Armstead a lot. Him and DJ Jones in the middle, they get in the backfield. They're good against the run. They're strong. They're violent. I mean, that's a really nice tandem to stop the run.
DJ Jones needs to be on the priority list to be brought back.
Agree.
I mean, he's just been that good, and a big man shouldn't move like that. They'll throw a screen to the outside, and all of a sudden, DJ Jones is over there. Like, you shouldn't be able to move like that. DJ Jones has been incredible, and he
won't cost him $585 either. No.
And
right? It would be like $330, like the Jimmy Ward contract, something like that.
Right, and DJ Jones, right? Yeah. It lessens the blow if Javon Kinlaw isn't what people think he is for right now. And if you get even a little bit of Javon Kinlaw, just a little bit, then there you go.
Right? Prediction. I don't mean to be a hater. I'm saying
I thought we're doing positive.
Kinlaw will never be as good as DJ Jones is right now, and that's partially because DJ Jones is hella good. He's hella good. I mean, we've all looked at him. He's like a 2-down run stuffer. Well, yeah, I guess, but he actually gets it. I mean, he's a pretty good pass rusher too on first and second down as well.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's that's in the range of outcomes. I'm not ready to write the kid off just yet. I'm not. But
DJ?
Kinlaw. I'm not ready to write the kid off yet, Kinlaw.
I like his skill set, man. I wish he could just. I mean, it's too bad.
Part of the problem with what's going on with Kinlaw is being a direct replacement to an All-Pro. Expectations to pick who you could have had. A lot of people are just going to use that against him, and then you throw in the injuries. Now people are just piling on, right? Yeah, but that's not his fault. He didn't
just come back and do something. Yeah,
he didn't draft himself. He didn't draft himself. Get mad at the people. Get mad at the people who drafted him. That's who you should be mad at.
That is true. Isaac Hartman says, Grant, I don't know if you've seen, but from David Lombardi's vid of Lance passing to Little in practice, it looks like he's developing more of a spiral. Anything to add?
Ball's dipping too low.
Huh?
Ball's dipping too low.
Down?
Have you seen it? Yeah, the windup. He's down and then he's up. Like, it's quicker, but he's still down. The ball's down. So look, he can work on that. Like, that's it. But he still is throwing a spiral.
Are you telling me that he's not being developed rapidly in practice? I thought that you learned so much as a scout team. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about, like,
put some respect on the scout team player of the week, bro. I'm tired of you with the negativity.
People talk about like Aaron Rodgers and freaking Joe Montana. Rules were way different back then. There was way more practice time. And Kyle's even said it. The only time to really develop people is minicamp and OTAs, some a little bit in training camp, but you just don't have time. You have to give all the reps of the starters.
And you have to game plan. You have to install everything for the game plan. And look, I mean, that's all I noticed. It doesn't mean that Trey Lance is anything other than what he is right now at this point, and he's still going to be the starter next year. So that's it.
But my thing is, why I probably wouldn't have traded up to 3 is, first of all, it's not a developmental league. So if you're taking someone that you think needs 2 years on the bench, man, good luck. And I think it's nice to be able to move on if you get it wrong, because scouting the position is so hard. It's so hit or miss. So what the Patriots did to me is like, let's just take the best guy available at 15, and if Mac Jones sucks, we'll do it again next year. And we'll get it right eventually.
Well, at least they didn't trade picks to get there, right? So because
the Patriots and the Niners are in the same spot. We want a new quarterback. What do? Niners were like, let's make a drastic move. The Patriots were like, let's just chill. Let's let the market come to us. Totally different approaches. Anyway,
Trey Lance is going to be fine. Trey Lance is going to be fine. Trey Lance is going to be fine.
I think he will be fine, absolutely, but he has to be. And that's maybe part of the reason that he's not out there is because it's unacceptable if he's not great because of what they gave up, which is too bad. That's his fault. That's their fault, not his fault. Their fault. Real quick, we talked about strong safety, but it's pretty clear that they're now splitting time. They're platooning. And both guys are
at least two on and one off with Tark.
Yeah, something like
Hufanga.
Yeah. And it seems pretty clear that barring injury, they're grooming Hufanga to be the starter next year. Do you like that? What do you see from him, and how do you feel about the way they're being interchanged this year?
I've always felt that the only knock on Tart was injuries.
Right.
That's it. There's no other knock that you can make on him because, again, can't intercept the ball if they don't throw at you. He's a solid tackler. He's one of the smartest guys on the team in terms of understanding what defenses are trying to do. Him and Ward both have chemistry. They've been playing together forever. Mm-hmm. And that's it. It's just the injury thing. Yeah. Do I like what they're doing? I don't. But at least they're developing one rookie. And it seems that they love what he's doing. They love Hufanga. And this is it.
Yeah.
Look, unfortunately, I don't want to say this, but this is what I feel. I think this is Tart's last year as a 49er. I think that he will go somewhere else. And I think that they're just going to
say he'll be 30 next year. But they have this guy who they like.
They have Hufanga. They're gonna put him out there. But I think that Tart will never be remembered the way that he should be when he's been on the field. And I think that a lot of things have been thrown his way. And I feel like being pushed out of the door with him wanting to be here and him largely being healthier this season, that IR stint was nowhere near. See, here's the thing. Here's my conspiracy theory. Tinfoil hat.
Uh-huh.
Tart didn't need to go on IR. That was their excuse to free up the roster space. And then what do? You play Hufanga and you help him develop.
Right.
I don't ever think it was that serious. And my only gripe with that would be when you look at it, right? Another team looks at it. Oh, well, let's say he goes to the bargaining table. They're like, man, you were on IR last year.
Yeah. Again.
Well, right. Yeah. Like, oh, well, but if you want to get the guy reps, just say that. And it's easier to get him reps if you can just say, okay, he's on IR. And that's my only gripe with it. Do I like it? No. Do they know better than me? Sure. Absolutely. But I always feel like Tart has always been overlooked and has been a bit of a guy who just people kind of trash on just because of injuries. But when he's been on the field, he's been nothing but productive. And the defense, it's in the numbers. In the red zone, when he's there, they give up less. There's less explosive plays.
Well, hold on. Let me ask you then. I mean, it seems to me that he's probably going to sign somewhere else. Mm-hmm. He could go to Seattle. I mean, they got problems with their strong safety. They could go, he could go
Dallas is a fit
somewhere. He could go to the Rams.
Dallas is a fit. Dan Quinn runs cover 3. Dallas is a fit. He's smart enough to pick anything up.
Hufanga. It's possible they'll let a better safety go, and Tart could have like a really triumphant second act, kind of like Jimmy Ward, and go out on a high note. Should the Niners be concerned about? I mean, they're so concerned about letting Jimmy possibly go.
I'm concerned with it. I am. Okay. Jimmy got over once Jimmy got over the injury stuff, then that was it. It was in everybody's face, even when they were sleeping on him at that point. But it is possible that they are letting the better safety go. But I will say this as a positive: at least they're letting a rookie develop. They're letting him get snaps, and at times they put him in the right spot. So while I am worried that that's the case, again, obviously, I don't know better than the front office, but at least one rookie's getting a chance to develop. One rookie's getting a shot to impose his will and show his impact, and they like him. They really like him, and that's why they wouldn't be taking Tart off the field if they didn't like him.
In key games in December, do you think it's going to cost him down the stretch?
I hope not. That's the thing.
He gave up a touchdown in this game. You said it wasn't really his fault.
It wasn't really his fault,
yeah,
but that was a bit of a rookie thing too, where he got caught. Yeah. Like he seems to drift too far, and when the receiver sees his leverage and he's able to hit that other spot, and he has that with the quarterback. Like the Thielen touchdown is the one that worries me more than anything, because he drifts to the right, and Adam Thielen, while he's running the over to the pylon, him and Kirk Cousins recognize, okay, this guy's drifting way too far. He cuts the route right back to the middle of the field, and Kirk just hits him. So that's the thing, right? I hope that that's not the case, but if that's on film, right, and then the Arizona game, right, where
he's like a runaway train, you can put him in one direction and he goes, but like, I don't know. Yeah,
Christian Kirk's in the slot, and if Hufanga plays it where he's going to run the over and he's back a little bit, it's fine. You give up the catch and you rally to the ball. But he stepped too far, and then Kirk runs right by him. If that's on film and he's out there and you notice that he's out there in single high, you can bet your ass better offensive coordinators are going to try to attack that, because they do not attack that with Tart. It's a
good point. Thank you for that distinction. The Niners need to think about this, because I know they want to like Hufanga. It seems like they want to like him more than they want to like Trey Lance
or any other rookie.
You might want to take the same level of skepticism at that position that you take at quarterback, because I don't know. I mean, Tart, I'm just saying. I mean, he thinks I need therapy, but I think he might need to stay here as the strong safety. I got Tart's back, whether or not he has mine. And I'm just saying, Niners you're going to lose Tart. Let's put it this way. You're going to lose Tart for nothing this offseason. You're just going to let him go, and he's going to sign somewhere for dirt cheap, and you better freaking hope that he's better than Hufanga, because I'm not sure that he is. But I mean, that Hufanga's better than him, but I'm not sure that he is. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
The injury issues might go away in another franchise too, with a better training staff. Ben Peterson out over there being like, "You're hurt. Now you're Brady." No, you're not. Why you refer yourself in third person in your video titles?
Me?
Because I'm from the same city as Ricky Henderson, baby. That's how we do.
Oh,
you know about that?
You do? What is it? Oh, what? Wait. Well, so what are some of the video titles that you refer to yourself in third person?
Like yesterday when I said that Jaquaski Tart said Grant Cohn needs therapy.
Oh, all right. I'll tell you why.
I need therapy. I mean, someone's searching for me on YouTube.
Exactly. I was about to say that's for the SEO, the search as that's it. You know, that's how you game the
engine optimization, baby.
Game the system, baby.
All right, we got a little bit more positivity we can go to before I start getting some hot takes out of you. Not some hot takes, but some anger. I'm gonna get some anger out of you.
I know exactly where you're leading me, and I promise you,
absolutely.
I'm not going there.
But I'm saving that. I mean, we're like 45 minutes in. All right, Jeff Wilson Jr. really didn't look like himself his first few games back, and they kind of put him on ice the last couple of games. And in this game, Elijah Mitchell not being there, I picked the Bengals. One reason was Ambry. The other reason was Wilson. I felt like he wasn't 100%. And then in this game, thought he looked like the Wilson of old. He was getting those tough yards after contact, really strong cuts, good vision. I think this is a really good development for the 49ers. Just if they have Wilson and Mitchell and Debo, they can probably run 40 times in every game going forward. Now, they don't have Mitchell right now, but Wilson, they will eventually, and Wilson's good now. So I think this is a good development.
Great run defense in front of him, 4 yards to carry, but I would be remiss
he was good
if I didn't highlight someone who was very good in run blocking and has been very good in run blocking. In fact, the number 2 graded right tackle in run blocking.
Hey, we owe this guy so many apologies, man.
Mr. Tom Compton.
I'm so sorry, Tom. You do your thing. You do your thing for sure.
Conversely, number 2 graded in run blocking, dead last in pass blocking.
It is the truth. Man, he's so bad.
Okay.
So bad.
Kyle Shanahan has been scheming around that the entire time that he's been in there. But here's why I want to highlight him. One of Wilson's better runs was opened up with Tom Compton on a pull into the middle, and he laid 2 guys out, and Wilson hit the hole and looked good. The Deebo Samuel touchdown does not happen without Tom Compton.
Yeah. Dude, he was so far downfield. Now, everyone made great blocks on that play, but he honestly looked like Joe Staley on that play.
And he sealed it. He sealed it. So he sealed it to the point where he kept him on the inside and left the sideline for Debo to skate through. So,
crazy.
but
I know we're talking about Jeff Wilson real quick. He's so bad in pass protection. And that's why me and like Rich and Javi, we're all kind of like having this like nerdy debate last week about what they should they have done on the last play. And I was saying, I didn't have great arguments, but I was saying basically, you should have thrown left because you can't trust Tom Compton. And people were saying like, well, that's hard to say. But with the game on the line, play action bootleg left. Get the hell away from Tom Compton. I'm just saying, Kyle agreed with me. Let's move forward. Jeff Wilson Jr.
No, so I mean, look, again, I've been, let's just say, critical of Tom Compton. But I have to give the man credit where it's due. He is the number 2 graded right tackle right now in PFF. And I don't see the comments right now. I'm sure they're saying this is why McGlinchey's terrible. I don't need McGlinchey. I don't necessarily think it's that. I think that's more a testament to Kyle Shanahan.
No, people are just having like sarcastic love for Tom Compton. Like he's like the
Tom Compton segment, please.
Yeah.
Hey, look, man. Hey, look. There's so many good things to highlight in this game, and I think that he was one of them. Unfortunately,
Super Bowl teams need nobodies like him to step up. Azeez, I mean, like nobodies, guys not getting paid.
Right,
he's one of them. Compton's one of them. Wilson's one of them.
Right. So back to Jeff Wilson, right?
Yeah.
If he can somewhat alleviate the stress of, because obviously Deebo Samuel right now is used on 1, a pitch count, 2, to be the backup running back because this offense is missing the explosiveness of Raheem Mostert. Yes. Anytime Deebo touches the ball, he can take it to the crib. And that's something that Mostert was the only other person that can do. Elijah Mitchell's been like great.
Mitchell's not really like that either.
No, Elijah Mitchell's been great, but he's not suited to be a bell cow.
No.
But if Jeff Wilson can take 10, 12 carries away from Mitchell and open up Deebo to be a wide receiver, that's it.
They overuse Mitchell. Not for with the 20-plus carries for Mitchell. It should be 15-15.
Yeah.
15-15.
Yeah.
I mean, I really think.
And I'm not mad at Kyle for that because he had no other choice, right? Nobody else was doing anything in terms of that. And you have to be able to run the ball because obviously what was going on in the offense, and that was your formula for winning. But if Jeff Wilson could come in here and be that 4 yards a carry guy, catch a pass or 2 out of the backfield, be just more efficient than he's been, it's such a feather in the 49ers cap.
I got a hot take. Jeff Wilson Jr. is the best running back in the team. Okay, I like Elijah Mitchell. He runs his ass off. He runs super hard and gets yards after contact. So does Jeff Wilson Jr. Elijah Mitchell has more juice to the edge, no doubt about it. Jeff Wilson Jr. has better vision between the tackles and is a better receiver. They're both really good. What a combination. It doesn't really matter which one's better, but I wanted to go hot take, and I'm taking Jeff Wilson Jr.
That is the
Prove me right, Jeff, please.
That's the hottest take. But if Jeff Wilson can somewhat be efficient in that way, 4 yards a carry, 10 for 40, maybe a goal line touchdown, just alleviate that a little bit more from Elijah Mitchell. Make Kyle Shanahan feel better about running the ball and don't let it make it be that it has to be Deebo. You use Deebo 4 or 5 times, see what you got. Because when you look at Deebo running the ball, he'll have that one huge run, and then everything else will be like 7 for 10. Right, 7 for 10. Yeah. So it's like it's he's missing that explosive factor. Deebo gives you that, and that's smart for utilizing him in that way, especially you need it as bad as you do. But Jeff Wilson, if he can develop a little bit more and he can just get back from that knee, helps the 49ers out so much more.
Yeah, and it seems like the Niners formula on offense is extreme. It's like 2-to-1 run to pass, not 1-to-1, 2-to-1. And Wilson and Elijah Mitchell allowed that to happen. Right now, without Mitchell, they're having to win a different way. And it's impressive that they're able to do it because it doesn't suit their offensive line. It doesn't really suit their quarterback. But once Wilson and Mitchell are back, this team can really control games. Rick says, sup, Grant, do you think Shanahan is afraid to start Lance because he could potentially be worse than Garoppolo this year? I think he'd panic a bit, in my opinion.
I think that Shanahan's trying to really win games, seriously.
I think so.
And I think that's more like
they're old school. I think he's just old school. Like, let's take the slow approach with the quarterback and win now with the vet. I think
that's the portion. I mean, I feel like I've repeated myself a million times. It's 2 things. It's one, he's feeling the pressure of you've only been in the playoffs 1 time since you've been here.
6 games under 500.
Right.
Worst game. Yeah.
Right. That you have to make the playoffs. And also, once you start Lance, the clock starts ticking. So right now, everything is kind of working out for him, right? They're 7-6, making the playoffs. If they make the playoffs and then they move to Lance, everybody will say, well, I'm glad you went to the quarterback, because everybody will just throw it on Jimmy as, okay, the quarterback wasn't doing enough for you to win a Super Bowl. So fine, you got to the playoffs, you proved your point. Now you can pivot to Lance.
Okay. We've been rays of sunshine today, beacons of positivity. Jason, how do you feel about Robbie Gould these last couple of weeks?
How do you
feel about him moving forward?
All right, look. Sunday, I blew a gasket on Twitter. And a lot of people apparently this is my reputation now. And, while it was fun in the moment, I was really upset. I really don't like it. And here's why.
Yeah.
I don't want to be known as the guy who is ripping on a kicker or whatever. Like
especially after what Urban Meyer did today. Kickers are protected.
Well, they just cut their. I mean, they're doing it the right way. They just cut their most expensive kicker. But my thing is this. I could be positive about this too. Ready?
Okay, there we go.
He was 6 of 6 in his last game winning attempts. Right?
True.
6 of 6. And that was the first time that he's missed, right? My thing is when the kick is 50 and in, I expect you to nail it. I expect you to nail it, dude, because you're not making them from 50. You're 5 of 12 since 2019. Ooh. Joey Sly came in here and was 2 of 2 from 50.
Yeah, it's true.
Tristan Vizcaíno was here last year and was booming those things through from 40 out, and it could have been good from 60. The difference is they were getting paid.
Gold can't even hit past 45. When they said it was 48 for the game, I was like, ooh, I don't know about that.
My thing is less about the kicking itself and how much money is being allocated to that. And that's it, realistically. But hey, he missed the kick. Fine. Twitter kind of went crazy, had a lot of fun. I kind of blew a gasket. When I got a chance to settle down.
He missed bad.
Yeah.
It looked like that one kick from a couple of years ago. It wasn't him. It was his backup when they were playing Seattle, and if it was to win.
Chase McLaughlin.
It looked like that kick where it started off.
Who's not having a bad season for the Cleveland Browns, by the way.
Yeah. Here's my thing I think on that kick, what he tried to do is he knew he didn't have the leg. I was watching pregame. He missed one from 47 off the crossbar, and it was a duck. So I think what he tried to do is kick it extra hard, and he sacrificed all accuracy.
Here's another thing about kicking, and this is not about Robbie Gould. This is why Justin Tucker is just Justin Tucker, and then everyone else is just a guy.
Yep.
Kickers year to year are volatile.
Yep.
There's 1 year, David Akers literally makes every single kick.
Yep.
There's another year, David Akers couldn't kick it into the ocean from a boat.
There's another thing too. There's guys on the street who are just as good as your guy that you're paying $3 million to. I mean, there's a guy on the street who's 30 years old and has 10 years of experience and is good, right? I don't know his name, but I can find him.
Right, and that's my thing. Is Joey Sly was here. Yeah. Everyone says, well, he missed an extra point. Cool. He drilled 2 from 50 and 2 for 2, right? I mean,
Robbie Gould missed an extra point last week.
That's what I mean. And the week before. Yeah. And that's my thing is it's less about that. And then when you look at the dead cap hit, that's the one that makes you want to vomit because it almost makes the contract.
Oh, he's coming back next year.
Yeah. $8.5 million. $8.5 million dead cap hit. That is disgusting.
Sorry.
Disgusting.
Okay, but here's a more constructive question. Is he going to ruin this run?
No.
Because they know his limitations, right? I mean, you're only asking him to kick a long kick if it's like, if you miss it, you go overtime.
Fine.
Yeah.
They ran for you. Yeah, like at the end of the half, you're fine. That's cool. You'll take that shot. But he's not going to ruin the season or anything like that. Again, this whole me against kickers thing started as a meme, and then it kind of just got to a fever pitch on Sunday when he missed that kick.
And Urban Meyer took it way too seriously. Like, Urban, what? It was a joke. What are you doing?
And another thing, too, he's so terrible. Here's why. Yeah. He attempted the least amount of kicks than anybody. So I have no idea why you're blacking out on your kicker when every time there was a 4th down for you to get a chance to kick the ball, you went for it. So it's really? Even more inexplicable. Yeah. So, all right. So one more thing about Gould is just, it hit a fever pitch and then everybody started to say, oh, well, you were right. Oh, well, I don't want to be right.
Yeah.
I don't want him missing game winning kicks. Fan.
I'm the cynical jerk over here.
Right.
I want to be right.
No, I don't want to be right about this. I don't want him missing game winning kicks. I literally tweeted right before. I was like, kick this through and I will shut all the way up. And then all of a sudden my timeline exploded with Jason was right. I want him cut. Why did you pay him? Don't get on the wave now. Don't get on the wave now. I was on this when you extended him after he held out. So, look, positive side, I don't think Robbie Gould's going to cost them. I just hate the allocation of money, and I hate that it's basically an immovable contract. Why would you hamstring yourself with a 39-year-old kicker who cannot kick from 45 and out? And I don't cite the accuracy stats when he was 27, 28, 29. He's 10 years older now. It's not the same player. That would be like having like Joe Montana and saying, remember what he did in the 80s? Now look at him now. Like, that's why you got to keep running him out there. No.
But I think there was I feel like old school coaches. I've heard coaches say that as long as you have a coach who's money from inside 45, you can win a Super Bowl. So I think that's where the Niners are coming from. But is he still money inside 45?
Well, all right. One more thing that I want to point, because we're talking way too much about a position that doesn't matter. Everybody always wants to say, well, Adam Vinatieri is the reason that Tom Brady. They paid Adam Vinatieri nothing. He got the bag the last year of his time with the Patriots, and then the Colts paid him.
That's true.
The Patriots did it right.
That's true.
They had a clutch kicker, but they never said, man, we got to throw you $3 million as opposed to
you're one of our
just take $1 million and be happy.
Players. Yeah. No.
Just be happy you're here.
Okay. Another specialist. Mitch Wishnowsky did
You're
not
really pushing my buttons here. You're pushing
Mitch Wishnowsky. Okay, so I don't know if there's some. The Niners say it's something he's doing. 2 of his punts were muffed. The Niners are saying that he can kick it in ways where it like starts spinning one way, stops mid-flight, starts spinning the other way, starts rotating. Do you buy that Mitch Wishnowsky has like a special way of kicking? That
no. Here's why not, Grant. Here's why not, Grant.
Really?
Here's why not, Grant. If this man has the knuckle puck like the kid from the Mighty Ducks, why on earth are you not doing this every single game? And why is everybody else catching it?
How did you wait until week 15, man?
Unbelievable.
What is every time?
Unbelievable.
The Niners never play defense.
Someone cited punting efficiency yesterday, and I wanted to throw my phone into the river. Punting efficiency. Is this where we are?
Yes.
EPA on punts?
No, the best parts of the Niners are the quarterback sneaks and the knuckle punts. The best part. You can't quantify that.
Dude, he had a 29-yard punt on Sunday. 29 yards.
I saw that. I was like, was that a typo? Did that just happen? Did I just freaking hear what I think I freaking heard? Wow.
So, all right. So knuckle punts, all that, whatever. Do it every single week so they fumble all the punts. Then if that's the case, why are you waiting for a Bengals game? Maybe that is just a trash punt returner, and you're just trying to make it that, oh, he's actually really good. He's a damn punter. And another thing, guys.
He called it a banana ball. Richard Hightower was like, I was like, what is a banana ball? And he wouldn't tell me. He's like, you made that up.
Here's one more thing. Here's one more thing, guys. I don't know if you guys know. The goal of the game is to not have your punter punt 7, 8, 9 times.
It's true.
Imagine that.
It's true.
You don't want your
not the
punter
MVP of that game, though. He was the MVP of that game. He used mind control. He used mind control on that punt returner.
I swear to God, I'm gonna close out of this thing right now. If you like yesterday,
that was 10 minutes on specialists. That's enough. I'm sorry.
And you know how to push my buttons, man. Yo, punting efficiency, it's like we are so far gone, man. And for anybody who doesn't like analytics people, that's why. Punting efficiency? Are you serious?
Yeah. The insides, the advanced stats, because the regular punting stats weren't good enough. When they drafted Mitch Wishnowsky, I could not freaking believe it.
We're just not smart enough to understand it, Grant. Just understand that, we don't use our eyes. Look,
did you know that Mitch Wishnowsky can punt left-footed? I don't know if that matters, but he can do it.
Good. So if he breaks his right foot, then he's fine with his left foot. Jesus Christ, Grant. All right, look, one more thing. If another person brings up this knuckle punt thing, I am going to, rip my lungs out. Do it every single game and make everybody fumble then if that's the –
I'm bringing it up. Every time he's punting, I'm tweeting knuckle punt, knuckle punt. I better see a knuckle punt. Was that a knuckle punt? How come you didn't ask for that? Did you call the knuckle punt? Didn't you call the knuckle punt?
Why can't it just be that the Bengals returner is terrible? Hey, you know who I give more credit on those fumbles? River Craycraft for getting down there and actually recovering them.
And you're talking about the guy control over. Yeah.
Right. You're talking about the guy who's just putting it in the air for as far as he can, instead of the guy who hustled his ass down there and actually recovered the fumble.
Thank you. Trent Sturfield and River Craycraft. Let's get them some credit. All right. Okay. Who's going to win this game? Really? No. Let's get back on the rails. No. The prediction is: will the Niners win? Will the 49ers beat the Falcons, or will the 49ers beat themselves? What do you think?
The 49ers win this game, but here's what I have to say. And I think Jose wrote an article about it, and he stole the words from my mind. They're already looking towards that Thursday night game with Tennessee because short turnaround. You got to get all these guys ready to go. And in that
big emotional win last week too. Mm-hmm. Back-to-back road games, natural letdown.
So all right, but here's the thing. In 2019, when they lost to Atlanta, They had Dan Quinn, who understands Kyle Shanahan. They also had Julio Jones, who's very good. But also, the 49ers did fall into a trap game there. That was a letdown. Complete letdown.
And Matt Ryan was 2 years younger.
Right. Yep. This team right now is the most fraudulent, have no idea how you even won 6 games team that I've ever seen in my life.
They're 6 and 7.
I can't believe that they even have a chance to
no
be in
teams with winning records, apparently. 0 teams with winning records. Yeah.
None. Yeah. No Julio Jones, no Dan Quinn, not the same team. My thing,
good, but the Niners are strong.
They don't get him involved. They don't get him involved.
Cordell Patterson, good, but not as good as Deebo Samuel.
No, and that's it. It's really Cordell Patterson, Kyle Pitts. Russell Gage has come on a little bit here, but honestly, this team does not scare you. They have no running game.
No.
And Arthur Smith runs a variation of the Shanahan system at this point. D'Amico Ryans is going to know how to knock that down. They're going to be fine. My thing is that they already have eyes on Thursday. How do I win this game without using too much on my side to get them ready for Thursday? Because I'll tell you what, Derrick Henry's not going to be playing for Tennessee.
Right.
A.J. Brown probably is going to be back.
Yeah.
Can you scheme if Ambry Thomas has to play and Josh Norman have to play against
much better than Jamar Chase and
Julio Jones?
Yeah.
So I think that the 49ers do win this game. Atlanta's not good, but they do have eyes. And I think Kyle's trying to game plan around how do I do the least to win this game and not put guys at harm's risk because we have a short turnaround and have to get to Tennessee on the road on a Thursday night game.
My question with this game is like, the Niners should win. I don't think anything of the Falcons, but I really feel like the Niners, when they lose, they beat themselves. They're really freaking talented. I mean, they might be as talented as most teams in the league, but when they lose, they beat themselves. And so it's not even about Atlanta. What I'm looking at this week is maybe no Elijah Mitchell. So instead of that 2-to-1 run to pass ratio, more of that 1-to-1 ratio. And once you get Jimmy Garoppolo into 35, 40, 45 dropbacks, as we've seen, like the stare down over the middle is coming. And it's like, does the guy pick it off or not? And Cincinnati didn't. I don't know that Atlanta will, but I feel like it's going to be one of those games where you can't hide that. And when the Niners do turn the ball over, I mean, when they don't turn it over, they're pretty much undefeated, right? They're like 11-1 in the last 12 games.
Yeah. I'll give you this.
Yeah.
Jimmy is going to throw a little bit more in this. Jimmy is going to throw a little bit more in this game.
Yeah.
But here's why I'm not as worried.
Okay.
The Atlanta Falcons are dead last in pass rush.
Well, that's
dead
good.
last.
That's
dead
good.
last.
And when Jimmy has a clean pocket, I mean, he makes some nice throws.
The first touchdown to Kittle, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Time. Yeah, absolutely. It's good. It's good.
So,
yeah,
I'll give him that. And look, AJ Terrell's a really last.
Who do they have? I don't even know who they have.
Exactly.
Yep. That's their pass. It's like we got at defensive end, and
they've got guys. They've got those unnamed players in Madden, like those that like they have number 99. They have number 90. They have number 98. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
But AJ Terrell's really good at corner. And Leo Luna posted a stat about he's like the number 3 ranked cornerback in terms of PFF. And when you consider that they're dead last in pass rush, that means that man is covering. Like they're not
leave him alone. Good thing Jimmy just goes over the middle anyway. So that's good.
He's not going to test out there or anything like that. No. But yeah, I think that they'll be fine. Again, it would take an utter collapse. It would take this team to completely
beat itself.
Beat itself flat on its face. Yeah, I have no idea how this Atlanta team won 6 games. I really can't put it on and I watch everyone. I watch their games and they have more points at the end of the game and I'll be like, I have no idea how they just did that. Seriously.
Give me a score prediction.
The 49ers win 27-17, 27-15, something like that. They're not going to give up any points in this game. Yeah.
I'm going 27-24. I'm not sure that the Niners defense is going to put the
It better not be that close.
First of all, I think the Niners are going to turn the ball over once on offense. And second of all, I just don't. It's a good defense. It's a good defense. But I don't know. 14, that'd be great. If they could do that, then you're on. I would love to see the Niners defense do something like that because they had it a couple of weeks ago, back-to-back 10-point.
D'Amico knows how to slow down. No, D'Amico knows how to slow down that offense. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to slow down that offense in Tennessee because Derrick Henry, right? Derrick Henry opens up play action and everything when Arthur Smith was over there, but they don't have anything like that. D'Amico's going to know how to slow that down. I'm not worried.
That's a good point. All right. So right now, the Niners are the 6th seed. Looking like they'll probably finish there. They might not. And right now, this could change, but right now, if the season ended today, they would be playing Arizona for the 3rd time. This would be the first round in Arizona. How do you see that potential matchup playing out for the 49ers?
It's weird. The 49ers played Kyler Murray to the gun in Trey Lance's first start.
Yeah.
Got absolutely whipped by Colt McCoy and nobody else, right?
But in that second game, like Tartan and Ward didn't play, right?
Correct.
I mean, it wasn't the same team.
Correct.
Right.
It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season.
It's true. And Arizona's a little down right now. Like, we don't even know if Hopkins would play in that game, right?
Right. So that's my point, right? And this is why, a lot of 49er fans have been giving me crap, right? I'm like, you need to get into the dance. Here's why. You don't know what teams are going to be looking like right there. And without DeAndre Hopkins, what if this team slides a little bit? They start to lose confidence. Right. And maybe there's the Cliff Kingsbury collapse on the way.
Yeah, you don't know what it's going to be like in big game. You don't know. That's a good point, man. It's a good point.
They have been starting well year after year with Kingsbury, right? And then all of a sudden they taper off.
That's a really
Is it starting to look like that? So again, focus on what you got to focus on, and then you figure out that team when you get there. A divisional opponent, that game's always going to be close regardless. As long as Colt McCoy doesn't start, should be an issue. But here's the thing. What if the 49ers come into that game more healthy? Meaning Emmanuel Mosley plays, and they don't have to start Ambry Thomas.
That's right. And I would imagine that would happen. Yeah.
Right. And Hopkins isn't himself, right? He missed 2 games before this season prior. He's on his way to missing 6, 7, 8 games, which is unheard of. You don't know how he's going to bounce back. Can AJ Green still hold up? Are you really worried about Zach?
He's not a threat. I mean, you're more worried about Rondell Moore and Christian Kirk, really. Yeah.
James Conner's banged up. He just hurt his injury. He might not play. Chase Edmonds still hasn't been brought off IR. Again, JJ Watt's not going to be in this game. We don't know. So again, I think you feel fine with that. And I think that the 49ers' goal should be less about who do you want to play.
I agree with that.
But be playing the best ball that you can be playing and be as healthy as you can, and then let it lay however, and then you feel like you have a good chance.
Week 18, too. If you have a wild card sewed up going into Week 18, you might want to rest your starters. But
if you have no chance to move up or anything like that, and it's already set, do it.
Just rest him. But here's the thing: my thing with Arizona, I picked them to go to the Super Bowl, and I'm not going to back off that prediction yet because here's my thing. The reason I keep coming back to them as being a really legit contender. No one ever talks about their defense. Vance Joseph is really good. He's really good, and that defense is ranked 5th in yards allowed and points 4th in points allowed. And both times they faced the Niners, they did a really good job against the Niners offense. They dictated to the Niners offense. They took away that run game, and Kyle Shanahan was pretty much on his heels both times. Now, I would expect he would do a better job the 3rd time around, but Vance Joseph does a really good job. That's a hell of a defense at all 3 levels. It's the only thing.
Just be playing your best football going in. If the 49ers run the table, let's just say, because after this, let's say if they beat Tennessee and then Houston, and then that game with the Rams does not matter. I don't care if they lose that game. Effectively, for me, they ran the table, and they're playing their best football. Arizona, Green Bay, any of those people. The only team that I feel like would really be death for the 49ers in the first round would be Tampa Bay. That's it.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of hope that they steal that first round bye, because Arizona's going to fall out of that, I believe.
Dallas is interesting, too, with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons against Tom Compton.
That would be a good matchup. But I think that formula is out to slow them down, and Fangio put it out there in that Denver game with man match. What you do is you cover the crosses, and you have one guy who sits in the middle, the robber, and you make Dak go through all the progressions and everything. I understand you don't have the corners to match up. Gallup's great, Lamb is great. I'm not talking about that. The run game isn't what it used to be in Dallas.
No.
Dak's been slumping, but there is precedent in ways to slow it down, and you better believe that DeMeco's looking at that. So right now, look, I know we're talking about playoffs, but the 49ers should just be talking about getting healthy and playing their best ball and getting in there. And then who knows what the hell happens, man. That's it. That's really it.
The way I look at it is if the Niners are playing their best, they really could go to the NFC Championship game. And to me, we saw this in 2013. The Niners were a wild card team. They did 3 straight road games, and they just ran out of gas in the 4th quarter in Seattle. They were winning that game in Seattle, and then it fell apart. You never see a team have 2 consecutive road games in the regular season. It's really hard.
The Seattle game, fake punt for a touchdown, turn a fumble on the other side of the field that allowed them to be right there. Like, take some of those things out, and they're probably not even in position to do all that. So again,
I was thinking about the 2013 NFC Championship game. I'm talking about the run in 2013 was kind of similar because wild card team, you're on the road 3 straight games to make it to the Super Bowl. Yeah. It's really hard to win 3 straight road games. You never have that in the regular season.
And Seattle was really good.
Seattle was really good, but they were winning that game. They were winning that game into the fourth quarter, fell apart. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners pulled a couple upsets in the playoffs, but ultimately it's a tough road, especially for a West Coast team, man. It's just cross-country flight after cross-country flight, and it adds up. It adds up. Anyway,
thanks a lot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give my daughter a bath, and then I'm just going to go run to the liquor store and cry. Thanks for bringing up 2013. I didn't really want to think about that, but cool.
Okay. So the Niners, we just laid out why they should feel confident if they get Arizona week 1. Let's look past that. Let's look past the Falcons, past the Titans, past everyone, and do what the Niners shouldn't do and say, where do the Niners have to improve the most to win the Super Bowl, to actually win it this year?
Consistently stopping self-inflicted mistakes. Consistently. Not 1 week, not 1 week on, 1 week off. Yeah. Every week. Don't fumble the ball. Don't commit penalties on big plays. Don't throw interceptions to underneath linebackers. Don't give up fake punts. Any of those things. If you're able to keep the turnover battle at 0, flat, maybe even just maybe -1, don't shoot yourself in the foot 5 times. Shoot yourself in the foot 2 times.
I like that.
One time.
Because, I mean, the splits bear it out. Like when they don't turn the ball over, they're pretty much undefeated. And when they do turn the ball over, they don't seem to be good enough to overcome it like 2 years ago when they turned the ball over 5 times.
Not many teams can overcome turning the ball over.
No, not many teams can. Now, a couple more things. I really think if Arden Key could keep this going and they could get a second guy to complement Bosa, this defense could really carry the team. And then finally, Tom Compton. It comes back to Tom Compton. He can be an asset. And the more they run, the more he's an asset. The more they pass, the more he's a detriment. They have to make sure that he's an asset to this team. And that's why that 2-to-1 run-pass ratio is so important. The more you run, the more he helps you. The more you pass, the more he hurts you. And that's a big key, is being able to use him as an asset, Tom Compton.
Yeah, and that all comes with playing in front of the sticks, not getting behind, not making mistakes. And being able to control the game. That's it. Self-inflicted mistakes. This team will go as far as they can take themselves. And I know that probably doesn't even sound like anything that's genius or any sort of information worthy. But obviously you can't win when you're turning the ball over, when you're committing penalties. And look at the splits. It bears it out. And the team is solid enough. And where if everything's cooking, Elijah Mitchell's playing, and Jeff Wilson's running the ball, and Debo's got his impact, and you're putting Jimmy in 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and asking him to convert those as opposed to 3rd and 9 and 3rd and 12, then you're going to be in a good spot. And that should be the recipe for many teams, but obviously that's the way that this 49er team needs to be spoken to, because certain games, they just don't understand, hey, you can't let those things happen, and they allow them to happen.
Yeah. Kev F says Jimmy the 2022 starter if they win the Super Bowl.
He has to be the driving force. And what I mean by that is he has to be 300, 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, game-winning drive, absolutely nails on every drive. I don't foresee that. They could win the Super Bowl and then profit off of his...
It has to be Kurt Warner. Not going to happen.
Yeah, like they can profit off of saying, look what he did. He won a Super Bowl. Do you want this?
They're not even going to put him in position to do that. You understand how much he's going to hand off? Do you understand?
Right. So, like, he could win the Super Bowl and you can go to a team. Like, you can have the Super Bowl winning champion with a great jawline who's very handsome and is very much a winner for a small price of a first-round pick.
Yes. And they'll get it too. Thank you, Kev. All right. Well, that's the show. We just knocked out like 13 or 14 topics. We both have the Niners going to the Super Bowl, winning it.
No. Here, I've got them winning it, but it's going to be a 2-way race for the Super Bowl MVP between Mitch Wishnowsky and Robbie Gould. I think that Mitch has the upper hand with the knuckle banana punt. You want to call Kyle Shanahan banana hands? Let's start running with banana punt on Mitch Wishnowsky.
Do you think that's why he called it that? Was he trying to? Maybe.
Just a shot at you. Mitch Wishnowsky.
Damn! First target in Hightower. Damn.
Mitch Wishnowsky, if you're listening, man, maybe do those a little bit more if that's the reason that's happening.
If you can do that on command, I would.
Right. I love that. I love that that's the narrative coming out right after. Well, he's always been doing that. Then why is everybody else catching him? Maybe just the Bengals punt returner's trash. Can you just say that?
No, he just invented it that week. Just wait. It's going to be happening more and more.
It's Knuckle Puck time. I can't wait to make memes of it. Like when he boosts one
for
like 29 yards.
Thompson?
I think so.
Yeah. Who's been around my whole life. All right, everyone. I got to go get some therapy courtesy of Tart. He sponsored it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm good though. I appreciate you, everyone. Thanks for watching. Got Jason Aponte, Grant Cohn here. I'll be back later on. See you guys.
Knuckle Puck.
Knuckle Puck.